Hey Homeworthy, I'm Ann-Blair and this is my home in Lexington, Kentucky. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Hi, I'm Allison Kenworthy, the founder of Homeworthy, and we're now offering a membership plan that gives our supporters early and exclusive access to new videos.
Hi, Homeworthy.
I'm Roz.
You're here at my home in Los Angeles?
Come on in. I can't wait to show you around.
With this membership, we invite you to open more doors, discovering new homes, rooms, and personalities available only to those with the keys to our guest house. You'll be part of a community of people who are just as passionate as you are about interior design. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
My name is Ann-Blair Housefield. I'm an interior decorator in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my home. So my husband and I met in Dallas probably around 12 years ago now, and that was always going to be where we lived, where we raised our family, and of course COVID kind of changed everything, and so did kids. Once we had kids, we realized we needed to be closer to grandparents. My parents are in Kentucky, I'm from Kentucky, so we kind of sold our house on a whim and had to pack up shop and get to Lexington. When we were looking for a home here, it was honestly really just a panic move. We searched and searched for 2 days, flew in after selling our home. We looked in Louisville, we looked in Lexington. We had found nothing. We were getting ready to board our flight back to Dallas, and my husband said, well, hey, let's just open Zillow one more time, just see if maybe there's a Hail Mary here. And I looked at him, rolled my eyes like, ain't gonna happen, my friend. We've been stalking Zillow, it's not gonna happen. And of course this house popped up literally 30 seconds before. We booked a viewing and put an offer on it immediately. If I had to describe my home style, I know this doesn't make sense to anyone else, but since Homeworthy is publishing this, maybe someone out there will understand what I mean. I say it's like Britney Spears' Soda Pop. You know that song where it's kind of like, it just feels poppy and fun? It is grounded in classic design though. I also refer to my style to my clients as irreverently classic. That might make a little more sense than Soda Pop. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But as we go through the house, hopefully that concept will start to materialize a little bit more. Welcome to our entry. So this was really the first space that we tackled when we moved in because it is such a grand, kind of gracious entry. We wanted to make it feel welcoming and full. Added this beautiful Jasper skirted table here with some of our favorite coffee table books. You know, we've got our design books here, but we've also got some books that mean a lot to us personally. Mentioned how we met in Texas, lived in Texas for a long time, so we've got a reminder of that here with that cowboy book. My favorite piece here is this 18th century chest of drawers. This is, I think, just such a beautiful piece. I love bringing antiques, pairing it with newer things as well. But I thought that this green lined velvet here was just paired beautifully with kind of the more natural feel that we have going on in this entry. And I love the little nicks and imperfections too, because it reminds me, hey, this piece was around during Revolutionary War times, which is kind of wild to think about. And I love to have that old soul feeling kind of permeating through our home. Most of the pieces that you see here I found at auction. I love secondhand, even if it's not necessarily considered an antique or even vintage. I mentioned, you know, that old soul kind of feeling, and I certainly believe that even if it's not an older piece, if it's secondhand, that means it was loved somewhere else, loved by someone else, and I think it brings in a part of its old home into its new home, and that is the story behind this mirror. Over here, leading up the stairwell, don't ask me why, but for some reason I saw these bugs at auction and fought to the death to win every single one of them at auction. I'm sorry if you are the other bidder and you're watching. They are well loved here. I am taking care of them. My children admittedly were scared of these bugs for the first year or so that they were here, but now we have learned bugs are our friends. Now let me show you into our kitchen. Welcome to our kitchen. So this was the first space that we totally got renovated. It had a great footprint in terms of size, and we loved the flow from the kitchen area to a breakfast nook over here. So we really wanted to try to highlight that a little more. The previous layout had, this was not here, this peninsula island. It was a big island right here in the middle with the fridge on that side, the stove on that side, and it just didn't really function very well. I do cook a lot, so definitely needed a more functional kitchen. And to kind of bring it more into less 90s, more 2025. So you'll see we did floor to ceiling in the kitchen area. We did floor to ceiling subway tile. And what I really wanted it to feel like in here was kind of a more utilitarian kind of feel, because this is where the more utilitarian stuff happens. That's where I'm cooking, that's where I'm cleaning, et cetera, et cetera. I think one thing that adds to that as well is this beautiful La Cornue stove and oven combo. I think that the brass and the stainless steel really helps add to a more utilitarian element. And then we added this arched wall here as well. So there was no defining space between the breakfast nook and the kitchen area until we added this wall. And I think that really helps soften the eating area, the kitchen nook area. We brought in some soft textiles, the tablecloth, et cetera, et cetera. And I will point out while we're over here, so these plates would not recommend with a 3 and 4 year old. This corner one has been broken by that chair when they're playing computer games like probably 7 or 8 times. So at this point it's just become a game and we just kind of take that puffy glue and glue it back together. So anyway, for any viewers out there, I know it's broken, I know there's puff paint on it, but that's kind of a little bit of the charm too. My big thing when we were working on this kitchen and designing the kitchen, I didn't want an all-white kitchen. I know all-white kitchens are beautiful and they're classic, but I just had there's something that keeps me from being able to make the easy choice, which would have been white. So I went the way opposite direction and chose Churlish Green by Farrow and Ball. I actually saw an Instagram post by another designer. I think she's in Michigan. Her closet was painted this color and I just fell in love with it and I thought, these need to be my kitchen cabinets. So again, like I mentioned earlier, everyone was trying to talk me out of it, but I am so glad I stayed the course and continued with this color. I think it's because this kitchen is literally in the heart of the home. It's not just the heart of the home because it's where we spend so much time. It is literally in the center of everything in this house. I think the color helps function well. This side of my house is very masculine, kind of darker colors. This side is very light, very pastel, my husband says it's like a baby doll's house. And so this kind of helps marry both of those. It can read as pastel or it can read kind of more like a natural, neutral, a little bit too. So it was a good connector for that. When it came to lighting, we wanted to have layered lighting in here. We don't have a lot of natural light. We do have this big window, but there's not a whole lot of natural light that comes pouring in. So we brought in these pendants. I don't love ceiling lighting, like overhead can lighting. So this kind of serves as our overhead lighting. And then we brought in these sconces here too. Again, kind of moving with the utilitarian kind of feel that I wanted in the kitchen side of this area. We've got this big light here that helps brighten up this space, along with a little picture light up there, again, just to kind of layer in the lighting and give it different moods and layers. Another thing that I really like to do in a kitchen that is often an afterthought is bring in some really great art. Of course, we've got our floral botanicals over there. We've got original art here on this side as well. I just think it helps bring a little bit more soul to a space that sometimes does not have a lot of opportunity to bring that in. And I like to switch it out. It's just a nice little touch in a space that we know as moms, we just spend so much time in the kitchen. So welcome to our cigar lounge, which was formerly known as a dining room. As you can see, this space is relatively small for a big table, lots of chairs. So we made the decision to turn it into something that would function a little bit better for how my family, i.e. my husband, lives, which is smoking a lot of cigars. So we added these, we had these custom banquettes made to flank the corners of the room for lounging, etc. You can see some cigar paraphernalia here. We've got his collection of cigar boxes in here. I mean, who knew cigar boxes were so beautiful? But that's kind of a fun element too. We picked up the colors of the banquettes from this rug in here. There's some beautiful, very saturated blues. And we wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit poppier in here, while still playing nicely with the room that adjoins to it. One of my favorite things about this room, so this painting right here was actually done by a dear friend of mine, TC Flowers, out of Cincinnati. Believe it or not, that is Jimmy Buffett jumping off of a boat into the ocean in the middle of a concert. And, you know, as hard as this might be to believe, my husband and I just are really big parrot heads. We love Jimmy Buffett. It's actually like pretty much the only thing we have in common collectively. So anyway, that's something that we wanted to bring into here a little bit. Of course, we don't want it to scream like Margaritaville or anything, but it is a nice nod to a man that we both love and adore, R.I.P. Jimmy. The walls are a tortoiseshell, Schumacher tortoiseshell wallpaper. I think the large scale of such a busy paper kind of helps it pair better with, you know, a busy rug as well, but it still feels grounded because of the dark colors. And so I think that makes this space just feel moody and perfect for a cigar. You'll see this does open up to our outdoor terrace. So you know, you want to have a smoke, run out here and enjoy the beautiful Lexington weather. We did make the bold choice to paint the ceiling a very dark color, which I know a lot of people are afraid that will make the room feel smaller. And newsflash, it does, but it also feels cozier, a little easier to relax in as well. But that also presented a challenge with lighting. Again, this is not a very well lit space in terms of natural lighting. So we added these sconces on either side of the cigar box chest, I guess you could call it, to again layer in some lighting, have different levels of lighting, along with these library lights on either side. It doesn't feel super lit up. It does feel moody. It does feel dark, but that's exactly what we wanted in this space. I mean, who wants a bright and light cigar lounge? Not me. All right, welcome to our bourbon room, also known as our formal living room. You'll see here we've got a lot of this same fabric, same print happening on most of our big furniture. So this is a space that really functions more of like the adult space in our house. Again, we have two little ones that run crazy everywhere, and this is a good defined space for just us. We call it the bourbon room because, again, we live in Kentucky. We do love bourbon. We've got a pretty fun collection of bourbon as well, but it also features another Kentucky interest of ours, our love of horses, and our equine interest, I guess you could say. When we moved to Kentucky 3 years ago, we did make some horse investments, and so it's really become like a big part of our personality here in Kentucky. We did have this piece commissioned a few years ago by Ralph Fugate. He is a local Kentucky artist and does beautiful work. This is a picture painted of actually a race at the local racetrack Keeneland here in Lexington, and it's actually a photo of one of our horses winning our very first race. So it's a very important piece to us because it feels special to get that first win, and quite frankly, our only win. So, we're gonna highlight that and have it painted up and put above our mantle. This is my family's piano. It was, my parents gave it to me a couple of years ago. It's a really important piece and sentimental piece because I did grow up playing piano. I competed in different piano competitions and otherwise. So it's, I spent a lot of many hours here, and I'm excited that my children will get the chance to play on the same piano that I did. Here we've got some, I guess our bourbon bar, you could say. None of this is really collectible, but over here we just have a little bit of a Maker's Mark collection. I've got, when both of our children were born, my dad, and you can tell we're from Kentucky now, had these special bottles made with each of their birth dates, and their name is on it. I also have, for some reason, one with my dad's name on it and his best friend, shout out Jim Meyer. That's just a sweet little thing to have. And then believe it or not, I was Miss Kentucky, and they make a special bottle. Maker's Mark makes a special bottle, or did during the time that I was competing, with our picture on it and a sparkly wax seal. So that's just kind of something fun that we like to have sitting up here, but do not drink these. I would be very upset. So this piece, this secretary desk, was actually the very first antique that my husband and I purchased together when we were engaged, I believe. It came from a Dallas dealer. It's a beautiful, kind of like more rustic than I typically go with for antiques, but I think that pairs really well with some of the more refined finishes that are going on in this space. I used to work from it. I no longer do. Now it just houses the TV and hides, all the football that my husband's always watching in here. When we first moved in here, the first thing that we needed to do was get color on the wall in this space. The previous family used this as their dining room, and it was a beautiful dining room, but we knew we wanted this to be used for a living room. So had a floral wallpaper that just needed to be changed. So we painted it a dark brown, as you can see, not scared of dark colors in this house. And I think it kind of ups the sophistication level a little bit. Again, like I was talking about with the cigar room, just feels moody and easy to be in, nice to have a drink, calming, etc., etc. All right, well, come on into our playroom. Okay, so welcome to our playroom. While I love the general layout of this house, something that was difficult to kind of work around was the fact that what obviously needed to function as the playroom was directly off the entry. Typically you like to hide toys and keep playroom kind of hidden, but we needed to find a way to make this space work right off of the entry while still serving as a nice room for my children to play in. So we brought in this big piece from Scout Designs out of Dallas, hides all kinds of crap. So that's part of the toy storage there. We've got lots of good shelving, hidden storage over on this side as well. And my favorite thing about this space, one of my favorite things about our home actually, is when you walk in the entry, you're immediately greeted by this family portrait. This is our old home in Dallas. We had it painted by Kimberly Z out of Mobile. We had these pictures taken about a week before we moved out of our Dallas home. That meant so much to us. and it's just a really nice welcoming piece. I also love that it feels playful, so it's nice for a playroom while still being sophisticated enough to greet our guests as they walk in the front entry. We've got these nice window seats here that our children do like to read books in, but you know that I'm making that up because children don't like to read books in window seats. We've got that has the the Schumacher fabric that pairs with our living room too. So it's nice to kind of have this room that marries into our family room well, but still functions independently as a playroom. As any good playroom does, we have highlighted some of my children's artwork here as well, wrapped in these frames, wrapped them in Sister Parish wallpaper remnants. So it's fun to switch that art out, as they bring home something that they're proud of, or even just, for a nice fun change for their own creative outlets. This chair here has been with me for years. Another auction find. You can see it's ripped at the seams a little bit, but it's been well loved and will continue to be well loved here. And I think it brings a good sense of vibrancy to the room, and a nice place for me to sit and drink my coffee while the kids are doing art in here. This is, in general, if my children were here, you would see them sitting here doing art or probably fighting over a toy. But this is kind of like Grand Central Station for them. They've got their books, they have their art in here, and sometimes we even eat dinner in here with them. It's just a good base space for them to kind of work their things out and be creative, play with their Barbies, whatever it is. These, as you can see, the family room behind me and the playroom that we're standing in right now are pretty connected. There is a clear defining space, but I really wanted to treat both of these rooms as one space with just a little bit of a separation. So we've got the matching rugs, we've got the matching color-drenched wall. It's Parma Gray by Farrow and Ball. Ceiling, floors, trim, everything. I've got a lot of tchotchkes. I'm just always bringing in things, adding things. It can feel very cluttered very easily if you're not careful, but by color drenching the space, it creates a nice, more serene canvas for all the crap that I'm bringing in all the time and nailing to the walls or adding to all of our shelving here. And so that makes it fun for all of my different collections. Okay, so welcome to our family room. This is definitely the most used space, as you can tell by the little water stains on the sofa. This is where we watch TV. This is where we kind of convene as a family, so we are definitely in here a lot. I think the most obvious place to start talking about this room is the zebra in the room, or elephant in the room, however you want to reference it. He is beautiful. We love him, and we like to decorate him for holidays, and just, he's become a little member of our family. We've got a lot of different seating situations happening in here besides the main sitting area with our pink couch and our Schumacher clad slipper chairs. We've got a Chase lounge sitting over there in the corner and a little children's hot pink chair over here on the side too. It's helpful to have, especially since we don't have a sectional sofa in our main living space, which is usually more conducive for families. We've got a lot of little seating you can bring up, and plenty of room for guests to come hang out. So over here you'll see opposite the sofa is our lovely television wall. So of course we do have that frame TV, which really helps my own psychosis around having a television above the fireplace. But it is flanked by some nice original art that I have collected over the years, just little pieces here and there that I think help, like I keep saying, bring soul to a space. I've got my little Delft collection up here as well. You'll see kind of around the room on the shelving, just in various places, my little collections that I have collected over the years. It is two separate defined rooms, but I really wanted to treat them like one space. Again, I like stuff just all over the place. So simplifying wall color and simplifying rug choice, I think, helps marry these spaces a little bit better, and it's easier on the eye. While white, I know, is not necessarily a great choice for a background of a rug in a family room and a playroom, I have to say they have held up very well. They clean wonderfully, and so it's a great choice for such a busy area. So this art here was another auction find. The hard part with auctions is often because you can't touch, you can't see in person, you don't exactly know what you're getting. I did not realize that these were just straight up prints. So when I got them, I actually took some clay crowns and kind of outlined it so it looked more original. I even glued some like fabric to it. So maybe I shouldn't be telling my secrets to the world, but here I am, just a girl trying to make my art look original. Do you remember the show Trading Spaces by chance? I mean, that it was like the basis, I think, for, or the founding of my love for interior design or interior decorating. Just really fun, wild spaces. They got to do whatever they wanted, and you know, when you're young, there's nothing more fun than to rearrange your bedroom. I used to put together thoughts and ideas for my parents' home growing up there, and just was always in the process of redecorating something. It's not something that I sought out to do when I went to school. It never even occurred to me that this could be a career path. But after moving to Dallas, living in Dallas, it's very design centric. It is just so many beautiful homes and just so many incredibly talented designers. So a lot of my inspiration and a lot of my design point of view is definitely rooted in, I guess you could say, more of a Dallas design perspective. And when we moved to Kentucky, I just thought, this is probably a great chance for me to kind of start fresh, open up a decorating business locally. You know, I already had local contacts. There are certainly some wonderfully talented designers in Kentucky and in Lexington specifically, of course. It's a little less saturated than Dallas is, though. So I thought maybe I could wiggle my way in here a little bit easier, and so far, so good. My best friend says that when she walks into my house, she feels like she's in my fever dream because there are just some interesting choices that I'm able to make in my own home that maybe a client would not feel as inclined to choose. Like behind me, we turned our dining room into a cigar lounge, partly because I just wanted to do something more fun in there that we would use more often than a dining room, and partly because that's the best way I could get my husband to release the funds for me to do whatever I wanted to in there. But I think most clients would not be open to bright blue banquettes lining the walls in what used to be their dining room with tortoiseshell wallpaper and a Jimmy Buffett commissioned painting, huge, on the wall. So yeah, there are lots of things that I do in my own home. My sister also calls it, she says she feels like she's walking into like my arts and crafts station. I take a lot more risks in my own home. Of course, I have wonderful clients who are open to the risks as well, but I tend to hedge those bets a little bit more in other people's homes. All right, welcome to the primary bedroom. So what we love about this primary space is the footprint. We've got a pretty big bedroom, followed by a pretty big closet, followed by a pretty big bathroom. So this room is pretty expansive, which can be a challenge sometimes when it comes to making a space feel cozy. But I think by bringing in this canopy bed from Casita Dallas, it really fills the space nicely. But at the same time, having it upholstered makes things feel soft and cozy and lovely. So we've really loved having this as a center point for the room. These pair of side tables or chests here were another auction find. I just think you can find the most unique things at auction. Again, I love a secondhand find. I love the nail head trim here with the different geometric patterns. Not for everyone, I know, but I just think it's a really fun little whimsical addition in a room that's otherwise pretty traditional. Of course, we've got Althea fabric throughout. We have the pillows, we have the bench, we've got these lovely little caneback chairs that we also have cloth in that fabric. I think it's a good jumping off point for any room, but especially a bedroom, because it does feel calm and serene while still having some really fun colors like the citron and the French blue in there. This screen is obviously hiding our television. It is, I love the bookshelves. I love housing our book collection up here, but we are TV watchers, I'm just gonna be honest. So we cover it up with this little screen when we don't wanna see the unsightly TV. And that's our own little secret. We did tone-on-tone draperies here just to kind of keep things feeling calm in a bedroom that is made for sleeping. But we did add these little boxy pleat details just for added interest to kind of separate it from, you know, just feeling too flat against matching walls. Well, welcome to my 3-year-old's bedroom. She is freshly out of the crib. These are new beds that we had made from Headboards World out of Dallas. Shout out to John, he's the best. We started with these draperies, which were in her nursery in our old home, and just kind of made things work around it. I love this little pop of green. Ignore the coffee stain right here that happened early on in the newborn days. But I think that's a fun little electric shock and something in a room that feels pretty serene and cool, or cool tones anyway. We did do with the bed linens, we did all matching prints, just drenched it in a print, I guess you could say, from Biscuit Home out of Houston, I believe. And this piece of art right here was actually an original by moi. I'm not an artist by any means, but for both of my girls, I did paint a piece of art to hang above their cribs when they were first born, and I just think it's a really lovely thought to think it'll travel with them through the years and maybe end up over a grandbaby's crib one day. Of course, we've got all of her toys, her little tchotchkes over here, baskets of stuffies, all her books, etc. And it's just a really sweet little space. Actually, both of my girls, so I have a 5 and 3-year-old, and they both sleep in here. So I'll show you my older daughter's room in a little bit, but this does, for right now, function as both of their sleeping areas. And I just love nothing more than tucking them both into little twin beds right next to each other every night. It's sweet. These little plates were a find from Thrills of the Hunt out of Nashville. I had them hanging above her crib, and I just love them so much. It's just a really subtle little tone-on-tone moment, but still kind of brings some texture and some interest above her beds. Okay, so welcome to my oldest room, my 5-year-old's room. This bed has actually been with us from the very beginning. We had this made when we were putting together her nursery in our old home, and it's just carried us through to her childhood room as well. We've got this beautiful, I just love this fabric draped behind the bed. I think it serves as a nice background for this green gardeny bed. Love the pop of red that we have too there in the middle. It's a little bit unexpected, but brightens up the space a bit too. Here is, over on this wall, the piece that I painted for her when she was first born. So again, this hung above her crib and is now hanging above her little reading nook area. We still use, you know, although my girls have outgrown a rocker, so to speak, there are no nighttime feedings or anything like that that's happening these days. but we still use their rockers in both of their rooms. So I highly recommend investing in a good rocker because it's going to take your children through their childhood years and be a nice little piece in their rooms for years to come. So a lot of my finds actually come from Facebook Marketplace, believe it or not. And this was one of them. This room has a very gardeny type feel, so I wanted to bring in a little bit more of a natural element, a little bit more of a natural texture, and I think this rattan piece really does that. It hides all of her dress-up clothes in here, so nice toy storage too, to keep things looking organized even though they're not. You'll see on this wall, it is just a wall of closets. We've got these beautiful ornate knobs, but a wall of closets doesn't provide much interest. So I just added a little ribbon of the yellow paint on these doors to just bring a little bit more interest to it too. So that's just kind of a little fun addition to bring a little element. And I would be remiss if I did not mention our sweet little ducks here. I found these at an estate sale when I first found out I was having a little girl when I was newly pregnant, and these served as kind of the jumping off point for this room. Okay, so now we're gonna head down to the basement. Just a quick little note about this door. We used to have a really cute little Dutch door right here that I just absolutely loved. I thought it was very charming, but my husband mostly works from home, and down there is his office. So we needed to put in a more functional door to keep the noise down from the little children playing up here all day, every day. So we added this nice French door so that you could still get a nice view of the beautiful grass cloth that we had installed, along with these sconces that I just absolutely love. Again, another auction find. You just can't do better than an auction find. Great prices, and also just a unique little addition to your home. Come on down. Okay, so welcome to the office, I guess we can call it. This is primarily where my husband works if he's not traveling. And so we wanted to make it feel comfy, cozy, functional, all of those things, and not really like a basement. So we added the grass cloth along the walls. There was already this beautiful paneling and a ton of built-ins that is, serves as good function for an office. We painted a smoky green color to go with the grass cloth, and really the feel we were going for in here for any Lexingtonians watching this was the Keeneland clubhouse. We wanted it to feel, masculine, but still lovely and soft at the same time. So we brought in, actually, believe it or not, every single piece of furniture within this seating area was sourced from Facebook Marketplace. We've got the beautiful Ralph Lauren kind of hunting scene fabric on this sofa, and it's super comfy. Also, this coffee table is clad with my husband's collection, his library collection about guns, rifles, etc. Again, a hunter. So that's kind of a nice little collection for him to have here. And then we move over to the area where he works. Now, most of the time, this beautiful partner's desk that we love is covered with wires and computers and screens and monitors and keyboards and paperwork and you name it. It's on this desk, but right now we cleared it off for you so you can see the beautiful leather detail. It's just a really perfect desk for this big space. It fills up the space while still not taking over. Behind, you'll see the shelves that are just filled with things that personal affects and collections throughout the year. He is an Indiana Hoosier fan, so we've got our Bobby Knight signed ball here, and I believe this was an Indiana Pacers ball at some point. I don't know. I'm not a sports gal, but shout out Indiana basketball, I guess. I don't know. We also have our collection. You'll see here, kind of dispersed throughout the area, and here are Kentucky Derby glasses. So my dad started this collection for me years ago. We have every Derby glass And for those who don't know, the Kentucky Derby, they serve their mint juleps in a commemorative glass every year. So my dad started this collection. We have every glass from like the 1930s on, and we love adding to it every year. It's a really fun collection that is near and dear to our hearts. And of course, we love to enjoy a mint julep in them as well. Home it's a very layered concept for me. I mean, of course, you know, this is where we're raising our girls. This is, you know, the walls that house so many wonderful memories and sweet moments in my life. But home is also very tied into, you know, my creative outlet, my passion. It is something that is always on my mind in terms of, well, what's next? And should I paint my ceiling pink? And, you know, just it's a constant turning of wheels in my head. So not only is it an important space for our family, like any family's home is, but it's also, you know, at the basis of kind of how my brain works too.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.